I feel like I've created so many projects that I have not finished. I start, but then I don't finish. And it's frustrating, especially as a creative, because I want to see my ideas come to fruition, but they keep flowing. And that you would think is a great problem. It's better than writer's block, it's better than a creative rut. But in some ways, it sucks because I want to finish these ideas that I have, yet I'm not giving myself enough time or space to ideate, to finish ideating, and to see it come to life. I'm so focused on wanting the moment to be perfect that I don't just focus on what I know now and know that in the moment of trying to make it perfect, I will learn how to do something better. But I'm never going to get to a place where it can be completely finished because there's always something more that can be done to anything. And that's half of the reason why people don't start. That's half the reason why I haven't started in a while. I saw some momentum, then it got stagnant, and then I stopped. And now I'm back at square one. And that's okay. Because this time around, I have a lot more knowledge and wisdom around how to do it and how to avoid burnout. I think that's why a lot of us stop what we want to do because we don't know how to manage it. How are we spending our time? How are we doing the things that we want to do in the healthiest way possible? I know people say eat, breathe, and sleep, and then fill in the blank, whatever it is. Eat, breathe, and sleep art. Eat, breathe, and sleep videos. Eat, breathe, and sleep sports. No, you got to do something different. In the same way where you have to let something breathe, unless you hold on to it tightly and it pops or it squiggles out or whatever. You have to find things in between those interests, those hobbies, those loves that you are giving 24/7. You got to find other ways to elevate yourself because it is going to start feeling mundane and boring. And it's going to be a hard truth to swallow because in your head you think, this is all I've ever wanted to do. Why am I starting to resent it? It's because there's so many other factors that are in it and you're forgetting the reason why you started doing it in the first place. I know that was what it was for me. I did a Project 30, and for those that don't know, a Project 30 is when you create content consistently for 30 days straight, and I loved it. It is what gained the momentum to my Instagram and TikTok account to this day. However, after that had happened, the dust settled, and I got a little inconsistent with it, and I got really inconsistent with it, and then eventually I just stopped, and it was really hard starting again. It's almost like going to the gym. You know, you're on a great roll for a month. You're like, whoa, I've lost this much weight. I've done better with my diet. And then you don't go for a day. And then a day becomes 2 days. And then and then 2 days becomes 2 weeks. And then you're like, oh, I just have to start again when I'm in a better space, when my hair's not done, when my work's not so full. There's always going to be an excuse why you shouldn't do something, but that should not be the one thing that gets you from starting again. It doesn't matter if you don't start the same way you did when you had the momentum. If you start and decide, if I at least do this X amount of times this week, that is the goal. Maybe before it was every day for an hour. Maybe in this season of your life, you only have an hour a week to put towards it. So what are you doing 20 minutes a day to get to that hour? Sometimes you have to restructure how you are and what you do because of the way that life is happening for you at that moment. And life is nothing but a series of restructure and adaptability. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I almost quit content creation because I didn't feel like I was creating for myself. In the midst of somewhere in the midst of things, it became about how my audience viewed my content versus how I viewed it. And I knew that it was going to happen because it happened before. And I didn't find a way to deal with it if it would have happened again. So now I'm just creating what I want. And it's taken the pressure off of feeling like I have to keep up with things. And while I would love for this to be my full-time job, realistically, I don't know if that's something that I want to do for the rest of my life. And until I decide this is something I want to go all in with, I think it's okay to be at that decision. My life isn't like the other content creative friends that I have that this is their full-time job. I have different circumstances. I have different dreams. This isn't the only dream I want to accomplish. And I think you have to consider that too when you're thinking about your aspirations and making your dreams come true. Your life is not going to look like someone else's. And it's quite honestly not going to take the same amount of time as someone else either. And I think that is the hardest truth to swallow, because we see someone our age, someone that looks like us, does things like us, someone in the same area as us. And we think, if they can do it and I fit those criteria, I check off those check boxes of who they are and how they are, I should be there. No. You guys had the same childhood? Grew up in the same neighborhood? Had the same parents? No, you didn't. Be more realistic with life. What's happening on social media, it's not real. Please keep in mind that we are just people. You are just a person viewing this video on someone who's being super vulnerable and honest about the life that you want to create is not that far out of reach. Like, just like that, you can have the life that you want. But if you believe that you can't, you can't. Change the narrative. Change the way you think about things. Just try to do your best to focus on being here, being in the now. You don't want to be too caught up in what was and what will be that you forget that you're living in an answered prayer right now. Where you were a year ago, thank God you're not there. Where you'll be a year from now, the opportunities are endless. Focus on how much you can do right now in this moment. And that doesn't mean make a checklist and try to complete it all tonight. It means make a checklist and try to complete it by the end of the month. Be more realistic with yourself. Be honest with yourself about how much time you have to fill these things you want. I used to be terrible at time management. When I say terrible, I would tell someone I could have a task done in an hour, knowing it took 3 hours on average to complete it to the way that I thought it could be. Great. So now I underpromise and overdeliver. Underpromise and overdeliver means, let's keep it on the topic of work as an example. Someone says they need something. Cool. Tell them you'll have it to them by tomorrow. If you have that opportunity to say, I can have it to you by tomorrow. And then over-deliver. So you under-promise that you can have it tomorrow. And then you're going to over-deliver by giving it to them in the next 3 hours. But I would say pick and choose when you have those moments. Sometimes you want to have time to think on the thing that you need to get done. And you want to do it right because you don't want to have to do it over again. But you want to create a consistency that the work that you do is good and it falls within an average range of this amount of time. When someone asks you to do something, you don't have to do it just like that. Because then if there's a bigger task in the future, there's going to be an expectation around getting it just like that. Slow down. Average time is 3 hours because it gives you time to think through things. It gives you time to do it, come back to it. Oh, I didn't notice that before when I first wrote it down. Now you do. Because you had time to step away from it, do something else, and then come back to it. In that same sense, you are going to find yourself in slowing down. I know I started this video talking about being inspired and not having to answer the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? But that one question stems from the way that you do life. So even in the midst of talking about how you show up in life to others and to yourself, that's going to follow. That's going to follow that question, what inspires you? Because if I asked you today, what inspires you? And someone on the other end of this screen said, listening to music inspires me. Great. You found yourself in an opportunity now where you can curate playlist for events, and that is your job. If someone is expecting you to curate a playlist and you have a week to do it, and you do it the day it's assigned to you, and you stay up all night to do it, and you send it to them, they have now put that expectation on you that you are going to get it back 24 hours delivery time when they didn't ask for it that way. Slow down. Slow down. You got a week to do it? Give it to them in 4 days. If you want to be extra generous, 3. But don't give anything sooner than it needs to be unless it's necessary. It's circumstantial, but you want to regulate your nervous system in the process of answering your daily question of what inspires you. So I want to close this video by saying we're going to have questions every day about how our life should go. And I think we should accept and be open to the possibilities of the endless opportunities of how it could go. Not how it should go, because that's how it happened in our head, and something that has not even happened in reality, in our imagination. So be open to how life can unfold for you, because a lot more could happen when you accept and love the way that life is happening. It goes from life is happening to me to life is happening for me. That simple change in words changes so much more than you think. So take the time to think about what inspires you. And when you know, do something about it every single day until something else inspires you just a little bit more. I hope this helps someone, anyone. I hope the 5 views that this video gets, those 5 people that sat here and watched it till the end, found out I don't have to have it all. I don't have to know it all. I don't have to do it all at once. I can take a break. I can do it slowly. I don't have to fall victim of how quick social media has allowed us to live our lives now. You focus on what inspires you. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.